I did a big brain move and I charged my phone while I talked up, and then when I was done, it was like 80% charged. We love those lightning chargers. I don't know where the frick I want to put this. I want to put it over here because I want to have hopes that it's not a big deal, and then we can go to where we were with the halter completely. She is also a 5.5-inch snaffle. She has a 5-inch right now because my 5.5 is with Draco. Like this works, but you can tell like she'd probably like a little more room. So I'm gonna get on and I'm gonna go straight to the bridle. And before I did it, before I started filming, I did flex left and right to see what she'd do. She had one moment where she was like, oh, I don't know about that, and then gave to it, and then it wasn't a big deal, and then she was fine. So hopefully that's going to translate. But I'm going to try to not use my clip-on reins. What's also nice about these split reins is that they're kind of heavy, and so she'll be able to feel my pressure a little bit more. This is the side she's for sure stiffer on, so I can tell she's probably going to need kind of a minute with that. So I'm going to flex more to the right today than I did left, since she got kind of that stiffness out of there. And I'm not going to worry about my reins kind of overlapping, like my black reins are setting on top of the split reins. I'm not going to worry about that. If she has to go to the cruising lesson today and that's where we sit, that's totally fine. I am going to see if she'll let me start with the fence. I'm going to yield her hindquarters a little bit too. Give a little bit, thank you. I'm going to yield her hindquarters a little bit, see what we're cooking with. But she should, and she's already kind of figuring out, oh, this is the same thing, except now she's just worrying about something in her mouth, which might be good. It might give her something to worry about other than what the fuck's in the tree line. But if she worries about the tree line, then maybe she won't worry about the bit. So either way, this is a win-win situation. Getting a little stiff over here. It's going to be a lot harder for her to run away from the bit, which is why I kind of wanted to have her get the idea of how to soften her body, because horses don't have hard mouths, they have hard bodies. Much better to that side. Yeah. She gets the idea and she's still finicky with that bit. I'm just going to ignore it for now. Because I can't teach her how to carry a bit correctly. That's all up to her. Learning how to carry a bit correctly is not my expertise. She can figure that one out. There we go. She's not acting like she wants to go ahead and bite my foot, but that is something that sometimes a bit can exacerbate because they're already kind of nipping the air. She's really worried about this corner. We did lunge in it, so we're going to have to work through that one today, which is fine. I don't want to make today such a big deal about the things that we went over. I just want her to understand that she needs to soften to this bit, and it's harder to get away from, but she shouldn't need to resist harder. She should learn that she just gives to the bit, and all will be right with the world. So, we're going to have fun with this fence. I'm going to go ahead and start this direction. Quick recap on that side before we move on here. She did fine. I think what's nice is because we got her so soft in the face, she knows that it's probably not a great idea to run away from the bit. And so when I correct her, it's pretty minimal. That was at a walk and that was her first time through, so anything could change, but I think that's a pretty decent starting point. So I'm glad that we worked her so much in this halter through the whole entire kind of foundation set, because she understands what she's supposed to do. So she's able to kind of think through the fact she has a bit in her mouth a little bit more, which I appreciate. She's still kind of gaping her mouth a little bit, and she'll eventually start coming down to that. But once again, I can't teach her how to hold the bit correctly. That's something she has to figure out on her own. I'm not going to scold her for trying to open her mouth and trying to figure it out, because all I can do is ask her to soften and see if she'll understand what that means. I can't make her do anything more than that. My goal is to make sure she listens, and it's her job to figure out what that means. And it's she gets to decide how comfortably she likes to do it. So like her mouth is closed right now. She's thinking about giving. Oh, there we go. Which I like. But when I switch and that bit kind of shifts, she's not too sure how she feels about that. She's not doing anything crazy. She's thinking through it. She gets the idea. She goes, I should probably follow my nose, and I should probably soften to this pressure here. What might be interesting if we get to it today is trying to see how she softens vertically with that bit, because that's where a lot of horses can kind of build resistance. But she was doing okay in that halter, so I'm hoping that it translates through. If it doesn't, all we got to do is work through it. It's not that big of a deal. Help me sit for that turn and just stop. Absolutely loving what I am feeling right now. So because we got better about those diagonals, she's a little more confident with them, and she's starting to figure out how to hold this bit a little bit better. She's very sensitive to it. She's rating off of my seat really good, in fact almost too good, because she got really good about, when I tell her to stop, I put my feet forward and everything when we go down. And so she figured out and she doesn't like hard stop and like not go, but you can hear her kind of hit the brakes, and then you're like, oh no, like that wasn't it, and she kind of keeps going. So that's something that just needs to be worked through with some time, so she kind of figures out the difference. It is probably my bad since I'm so used to sitting so hard for barrels. So I'll try to be a little bit lighter on those turns instead of just going down. But she's doing really nicely. I want to kind of go through the rest of these exercises before I start asking her to lope around, since that's kind of where she wants to lose it a little bit. And then we can revisit once we pull down again. But she's doing pretty good. She's still kind of working out some things. Once again, there's not much I can do except wait for her to give me the correct answer. But this is going really, really well. I really like how she's working around with this bit. And it's just an egg butt snaffle, no full cheek. It is copper, so it's a little sweeter. I didn't do that on purpose, it's just what I had on hand. I've just been trying. She's already breathing around hard. She needs to work up some stamina here, which you'd think she'd start doing since how much we're riding her and working her. So I'll see what she wants to give me today when we lope her, and I don't want to ask for too much, because she's giving me try, and that's, I can't reprimand that. I like how she tried to pull away too soon and then felt that I still had that pressure, and she came back. Really nice. I can just use about 2 fingers of pressure and she comes around. She gets stuck right here, but just those 2 fingers, I just say, hey, come here, look at that. That's what I like right there. Yeah, next time she gets ridden, I wouldn't worry about the halter underneath. At this point, it's just kind of in the way, which is fine. But we're gonna stand here and have a good time. I am going to go ahead, since she was yielding her hindquarters pretty good, I already got that situated. We're going to do kind of that bend to a walk a little bit, see if she'll do some bending transitions for me. And then we'll go on to the stuff that we kind of been touching on the past couple of days and see how she reacts to that bit in there. But if she's able to yield vertically and back up, she passed the foundation training. Like, that's it. And then we can kind of go into more fun stuff, which I haven't started the booklet on that one yet. I like that.
So this is, I feel like, the
the
hardest thing to explain when we do these bending transitions, but the idea is I ask her to turn and I kind of keep the rein down by my knee. And so I want her to bend around that leg, still keeping forward motion and doing that circle. And I put my spur right in the middle of her belly, and the idea is to have her soften through her whole entire body. So not just her neck, but also in her rib cage while maintaining forward motion. It kind of teaches them how to bend off of your leg a little bit. It's important that you do it right in the middle, not too far up and not too far back, because if we do it in the back, then it teaches them that's yielding their hindquarters. If you do it in the front, that's yielding their forequarters, and in the middle it just means that you need to bend your rib. And so we can get a little more body control this way. And so she did awesome today, and she gets even better just by this. Sometimes she'll kind of get like stuck and try to yield her hindquarter, so I'll kind of click and maybe give her a little tap with my with both spurs to kind of tell her to keep going, and this one's pretty good. And I'm kind of giving her some responsibility, so I don't want to have to keep that rein up by my belt loops in order for her to maintain that bend. I should be able to put it down by my knee, and she should be able to go that way. And even when we're doing this, she starts to give a little bit vertically, which I'm not asking for, but she does. So right here she gets a little bit better. She kind of holds it, and I can feel her want to take it back and stiffen up again, so I'll just make sure that my spur is still right in the middle. So that was a good one. And so we like that release a little bit. And so she got caught here, so I gave her a little tap to kind of get her going. I don't want her to trot, but kind of wake her up a little bit, move those feet a little bit more. And I try to do it in front of the camera, but it's a little difficult.
That was good.
And so I'm just kind of having her play with the idea of, you know, there's a little bit of rein pressure here and you should follow that instead of me having to grab it all the way up. And she did it really good over in that corner, which kind of sucked because I went out of frame. And so her left side is her better side here, but I was able to give her a lot of independence here. See how she stays bent, and I keep that hand down. So then I let her go out of the circle and just let her walk off a few strides. And then I'm just doing the same on this side. So whenever she wants to drop it and not give to that, that's when I'll pull up a little bit and say, nope, you got to stay bent. My hand is on my knee, and that inside spur is on her. And so that's what's cueing those ribs to move out is my foot. And I'm not trying to keep her, I don't want to hold her bent in that position. That's why I keep my hand at my knee, and there's a little bit of rein pressure, enough that she should follow it and stay soft. And if she doesn't, that's when I completely grab the rein and correct her and say, nope, you need to give me your head. So that's a good one right there. See how she stays bent with my hand lower? That's what we want. That's good right there. And so of course the neighbor came out, which was really annoying, and you'll see later in the video she starts spooking at him, and we just kind of went over there and checked it out and moved on. So right there, I'm just kind of working through the stiffness.
Oh, she gave a little bit vertically right there. That was nice.
So that was a good one right there. That was the best one she did.
mean, she was nice before, but that was nice. I like how I just had to start putting my hand on my knee and her feel that pressure in order to know, oh, I gotta give to that. She didn't get stuck. You know, I didn't have to keep correcting her to bend that body when I put my spur into her ribs. She felt that spur, and she felt that, just that little bit of rein pressure, and said, oh, I gotta bend into this turn. And with the diagonals exercising, the more that we're doing this kind of stuff in the middle of the arena, when that gets, you know, around the corners and the gate, and the area she doesn't want to go, they're starting to disappear. So she's letting it come together really nicely today. What do you see? Nothing? So she's given to me. She's still a little bit worried, but she's getting better about paying attention to what I'm asking her to do. I like how I don't need to pull as hard. So I'm gonna see what the fuck's over here. It's probably the fucking neighbor. I don't want to fault her too much for that one and have that be the thing that ruins it. The neighbor's over in the tree line and doing shit, so I don't blame her. I don't like people either. The neighbor scares me too. So I'm just gonna go back to what we were doing over here. Okay. There we go. You know, it's a matter of kind of getting her brain back when we're doing the slower work. You know, she has more time to worry about what's going on. Move her feet around a little bit. You know, and be gentle. You know, I don't want to reprimand her. You know, she's not spooking. She's moving quickly to see what's going on, but she's not bolting or being super dangerous with it. So I'm just going to ask her to kind of get her brain back a little bit. The reason I kind of kicked my shin out is because she's getting real cozy over there. So she wants to see what's going on, and she knows that I'm going to stop her and bend her so she can't see. So weird. Can't fix that. So I didn't ask her to go there, so we're going to flex some more. So I want to have her, when she gives to me, there you go. I'm going to work on that vertical flexion. Let me try to get a little more in the arena here. So she might fight this with this bit. I'm not going to assume. I'm just going to go ahead and do it. I am so not worried about that. I just want her to figure out she needs to back up. Both of my feet are moving on her. That means she needs to come back. Because this just means give to the bit. My feet. That's me telling her we go back. Look at that. I'll take one step. We could start with one step. We could do with one step today, all day. No problem with me. Absolutely. That's a building block, right? If we want her to give vertically and back up, she needs to first understand how to give vertically. And right now she backs up with her head up, I'm not complaining, but if I can take my feet off and still teach her to give to that bit pressure and put those together, she'll eventually just put them together herself. A little worried about that fence, so. So she went through the whole fundamental series with a bit in. So I'm not going to lope her right now. I'll put her in the turnout. I might come in here and kind of run her around later, but I don't want to get on her and lope because mentally that was a perfect spot. We didn't have any big issues today. That was a complete win. I am very, very impressed. I'm very happy. I said it always gets really good after it gets really bad, and she proved that to me today. So, woohoo!